Hi there, welcome back to the Groove Junction, episode 68. 68, wow, we are going through these every single week, every single Friday, 10 a.m. on all your major podcast providers, and you can also watch it on Spotify and YouTube as well. Now, as always, guys, thank you ever so much for joining me here for this episode. A great episode. I've got another co-host with me as well this time, and he's a great guy, absolutely fantastic guy. But we couldn't do these podcasts if it wasn't for you guys tuning in and showing all the support. And we do really, really appreciate it. We appreciate the guys at Wolf Mix as well, who kindly support the Groove Junction, keeping that vibe going. So without further ado, let's get the man on. I've known Dan for quite a while. Dan Nicholson, JN Sounds, and he is my co-host. So please put your hands together for Dan. Here he is.
Hey, John.
There he is.
Thank you for that,
mate.
Very
intro. You like that, did you? Yeah. I don't have a button with an applause.
Need to get
Matty's
applause.
got all of that. Yeah, I need to have a word. Yeah, he's got this little special effects thing, and yeah, and I'm not allowed. I'm not trusted with any buttons, to be fair. But nice. Dan, welcome to the Groove Junction, mate. Absolute pleasure.
To have in.
Yeah, it's great, mate. It's great. Now, Before we go on, Dan, we are going to go in a little. We're going to dive deep into your past. We want to know a little bit about you. But before we go down that road, you and I met 4 or 5 years ago. Do you think now?
Yeah, it was
something like that, wasn't it?
It was after COVID, wasn't it?
It was after.
I reckon
COVID.
It must have been 2022.
Quite possibly. 2022.
I think it was.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And it was Pro Mobile Conference up in Solihull, and it was my first one, and I loved it. I know you and I'll never forget. I think was it breakfast or lunch? I can't remember. I think it might have been lunch.
I think it was roast dinner. On the Sunday.
I think it was roast dinner. I think it was. And I was sitting there at this table, and you come along. Do you mind if I join you? Come and sit down. And we chatted probably for a good hour and a half.
Yeah,
Must have been about an hour between
however long we got for lunch.
Yeah, exactly that. And obviously, you don't live too far away from me. You only live about 45 minutes, an hour away from me in Hertfordshire.
You're
and I'm
Essex, right? Chelmsford.
Yeah, Essex boy, mate. Can't you tell by the accent? But I mean, so we've known each other, and it's going to bring me on to the Pro Mobile Conference, because obviously the Pro Mobile Conference is being held again in Solihull next year in March, and obviously it's one of those events that, for me, it's the networking side of it. This is where I met you, I met TJ, and I met 247 for the first time. And
yeah, same.
It is the networking side of things for me for these events, and I'm looking for. Are you going? I haven't even asked the question.
No, probably not. Probably not next year.
No, well, I know you already, so I don't need you to go. Right, Dan.
But I would, the Pro Mobile conferences. If you haven't been, it's worth going. If not only Absolutely. For the networking opens a lot of doors, doesn't it? Can do.
It does, and you get to meet a lot of people from not just the DJs. You get to meet the people from Pioneer or Alpha Theta, should we say? Denon, Tony was there with his big. Do you remember? It was that year. Tony had that massive, great big phone thing. Do you remember? I think it was Tony Cavallo.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name now.
I think Lovely for leaving, it was like a, what do you call it?
Audio message thing, wasn't it?
Like a audio.
That's it. Now, Dan, as I say, thanks again for coming on and co-hosting. We are going to do the rundown, and then we're going to talk about you and everything as well. And we want to get to know you a little bit I obviously know a little bit about you. But I want you to, we'll have a little chat. We're going to have a nice little chat. Two mates down a pub having a chit chat and chuckles, mate. Dan, that's what we call it. So without further ado, let's crack on with the rundown. And the rundown, as always, is sponsored by our friends at Pro Mobile Magazine.
The Groove Junction rundown is sponsored by Pro Mobile Magazine, the magazine that's got it all. It's a game changer. They don't just do surface-level reviews, they dive deep with real practical insights. And the interviews? They feature some heavy hitters sharing seriously valuable advice. But it's not just about DJ gear. They cover everything. Marketing techniques, and even the latest tech trends like AI, which is super relevant right now. Honestly, if you're serious about your DJ career, you need to check them out. And here's the best part, we've got an exclusive deal just for the Groove Junction listeners. You can subscribe right now by searching Pro Mobile Magazine and hitting the subscribe button. Just use our special code, GroovePMSUB, for a 25% discount on your first year's subscription, which is 6 magazines delivered to your door. That's Pro Mobile Magazine. Don't miss out.
Thank you, Pro Mobile Magazine. So, Dan, first time on the show. So, the rundown. Tell us what you've been up to in the last week or so, buddy.
The last week, I had a wedding. It's since wedding season is sort of over and calmed down a bit. I've been a bit quiet the last couple of months. But yeah, I had my last wedding of the year on Friday, and it was over in the Cotswolds. So I don't normally travel too far. But this was a couple of hour and a half, 2 hours drive. And so I went over on the afternoon. I stayed over because I once I've packed up, I'm like, I can drive back for about half hour, 45 minutes. And after that, I start getting sleepy and, dangerous. So yeah, couple paid for a hotel for me. I stayed over. It was a nice wedding, really nice venue. It was freezing, but the sun was out. It was a nice day for them. Caswell House, the venue, if anyone knows it. I'd never been there before, but nice venue. Sound limiter, which was no problem at all.
Oh, really?
Fine.
Oh, that's interesting.
I was blasting it, and it was like going into the amber. I didn't even see the red.
Love
All
that.
good.
I mean,
Yeah.
sound limiters, like for DJs, are like, worst enemies usually. There's a venue where I live, and I always get there early. When I know I'm doing a party there, I always get there early. So when the caretaker opens up the venue, I say, any chance you can open that little room there so I can store all my bags? And then I run an extension lead from the plug in there so it doesn't, because like most of the sound limiters are connected to a plug socket, aren't they? So I'm like, right, I'm going to run it through, sort of thing. Quick question, Dan. You say you went, so it's a couple of hour drive, sort of thing, from Cotswold. When obviously you've never been to the venue before, so when you're prepping for your wedding, like in this one in the Cotswolds, do you take everything you've got just in case, or do you just take what you would take for like a wedding half hour down the road?
I take what I take to every wedding, but that does include a backup laptop, a backup controller, spare every single cable, lights I've never taken extra of, because if a light goes, which is unlikely, it's not going to destroy the party. Same with speakers. Same with speakers. I'm my sort of view is if one speaker blows, you've got the other one. If both happen to blow, that's very extremely unlucky.
Yeah.
Touch wood, it's been all right.
Been all right. I've had one speaker go at a party once.
Really?
And it was just like, but to be fair, I was quite lucky because it was noticed it in sound check. And it was like, I can't believe my speaker's not working. Switch all the cables, power cable, check the mixer, everything, and yet the speaker had gone. But I still had one. I didn't have time to go and get another one, I didn't have spare speakers back then. But I rang up a friend for the following day. He said, look, I need to borrow a set of speakers. He's like, yeah, borrow mine. But yeah, I've had one speaker go at a party. Lights, I've had one light go at a party. But as you say, you've got other lights, so as you say, it's not going to ruin the party if you
I've had the odd old battery uplighter die, like completely die kind of thing. I guess probably a few years back, I would, especially on something like that, I might have taken 2 extra 10-inch speakers just in case for backup. But I don't know, like more over the time, I've just can completely trust my speakers. Maybe I shouldn't completely trust them, but yeah, never.
I think when you find something that you like, for me, I use RCF. I've touch wood. Yeah, I've never had a problem with RCF.
Yeah,
that one speaker. But then when I look at that speaker, I'm thinking, well, to be fair, it was like 6 years old, and they do get a proper usage. So I'm thinking, 6 years, doing 40, 50 parties a year or whatever it is. Yeah, they're done all right. they've done all right, you know. So, but yeah, no, that's interesting to know, Dan. That is because I know that there is a couple of videos on TikTok of you loading your van and shelling, even down to your little personal, your personal little backpack. Got to have spare socks, etc., and all that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah. I have had to use them on a couple of occasions. Like I accidentally trod in a massive puddle. Get the spare socks.
No, I did see one of your videos actually. I think you set everything up outside because you couldn't get into the venue, and then it absolutely threw it down with rain before you went in, or it was raining. There was something, and it was all. I remember seeing one of those. That was
that was a bit unlucky because there's some venues where I can because my wooden booth is on wheels, and if whoever's looking, I'm like, I can set up. So everything the decks are on wide up, so it saves some time. And
brilliant.
Yeah, this occasion looked all right, weather forecast looked all right, sky looked all right, set up, and then I think it was out of nowhere, black cloud. Like, it was all right. It was all right. Covered it up, put it in a different door. It's all right.
That. Do you? So, I mean, I'm just thinking about what I did last week. I didn't do any weddings. I did a school disco, which was like a Christmas theme, and it's like my first Christmas themed party this year, and it was really weird because there was three same school, 3 different years, or the whole school basically. But it just felt weird. It just felt too early to do Christmas stuff. But one thing I did notice doing this particular one is I have a little premix, like when they're walking in the hall, and I have a little premix Christmas thing, and the premix was playing Wham! Last Christmas. And all the boys were singing it at the top of their voice. And this was only like background music types at the time. And I'm thinking, I'm going to put that on later on. And I put it on. And again, they just like belted it out. It's absolutely fantastic. But I'm finding that these older songs now, the kids nowadays, it's like, I want that. Things like, okay, Sweet Caroline, I kind of get because of the football. What was the other one? YMCA. Can you play YMCA? And like, really? Can you play, such and such by Michael Jackson? I think you kids you shouldn't. But how do you even know these songs? So it just seems that they've done a bit of a full circle. We're all coming back to it, sort of thing. So that's I think that's it. That's all I had this week. It was quite nice actually. I had the Saturday night off, which was nice. Sunday I didn't have anything. So nice, easy week. One wedding for you, one school disco. That is the rundown this week. As I say, kindly sponsored by the Pro Mobile magazine. Thank you, Pro Mobile. Right, Dan, let's find out a little bit more about you. Now, obviously, you've been a DJ, 15, 20 years now?
Yeah, 15, 16 years ago, I started my business, Jane Sounds, but then add on another, 10, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm trying to do the maths. A good 5 or 10 years before that, doing like kind of random mobile stuff with a friend and bars and that kind of thing.
So we're looking at. So if we say a nice, friendly, roughly 20 years in the industry, where did it start for you, Dan? Where did it start? Because I mean, 20 years ago. I mean, to be fair, you only look about 28. To be fair, I mean, you're quite young.
Yeah. I was 6 years old when I started.
6 years old.
8 years old. Well, I started getting into mobile. Well, I guess we all probably have a similar story of like, being into dance music when you're younger and seeing the DJs, and we started going clubbing. Like, I want to do what he did, sort of thing. So that's how I kind of got into wanting to DJ and being into like dance and house and all dance music, but. It was my friend John, who his dad was a mobile DJ back in the 70s, OG mobile DJs, and so he got into mobile DJing through his dad. And we met working at McDonald's. Obviously must have got chatting about music, and started helping him. He did like a handful of events kind of every year for friends back then. I helped him out. I think we were just, when I first started DJing, we was going into CDs, so I never started on vinyl. I already had a massive CD collection when I decided to start DJing. And when I started going out with him, we were onto CD decks, the dual ones with like the little dual control panel thing.
Where you push the button and the drawer opens at the bottom.
Yeah, and
I
you
had them.
push the button to pitch bend and everything.
That's it. Yeah, I think they were new marks. I think my first ones like that were. I think.
Yeah, I had Citronic, similar
might have been
thing,
Citronic, actually,
and then
yeah.
we quite quickly actually got some CDJ 200s, which were kind of a smaller,
Very square black ones, weren't they?
yeah, grey and silver, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my starting off is very similar to yours, Dan, actually, because I went straight to CD. And I was quite happy doing it. I tried vinyl. I couldn't do vinyl. I just could not get my ear in with vinyl. But then I went onto the CD, and the pitch bend on the, as you say, you was pushing the buttons, and it was great. And I was doing great with that. And then my first set of CDJs were the Pioneer CDJ 800s, which were the silver ones.
Yeah.
And I was like, mate, this is amazing. I absolutely love this. And yeah, so I think the start of our DJing sort of career, you know, with the equipment kind of, I think very, very similar, because a lot of the DJs that we've had on the Groove Junction have said, oh yeah, I started off on vinyl or you know, whatever, and I'm like, no, I never did that, couldn't do that. But yeah, so after your CDJ 200,
well, equipment wise, or just
just in general, Dan,
general.
we'll just go in. Yeah, let's go general.
I mean, after the CDJ 200s, I got some 1000 Mark IIIs, and they got a lot of use for a good before switching to, like, you know, digital.
Yeah, I mean, I think the CDJ 1000 were kind of like industry standard with the clubs, weren't they? I mean, every club you went to had, you know, but they because they were black, weren't they? They were the black ones.
They're black. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah,
they were brilliant. And I think I actually bought a pair from Chelmsford over in Essex off eBay.
Oh, really?
But a lot of, you know, I think I must have paid like 1,200, which back then was quite a lot for a pair of second-hand. Might have even been more than that, actually. So yeah, I was helping out my mate John, and we were like, should we we're quite good at this, should we set up a proper business? So we upgraded to CDJ 1000s. My friend John, we had a chat, and we were like, should we take this more seriously? Should we, create a website and focus on, charging a bit more and getting weddings and that sort of thing? And yeah, we did. And that was about 16 years ago, and it kind of grew from there. We never started off, like, obviously I mainly do weddings now, and we never started off like, oh, we're going to focus on weddings. We were doing all sorts, kids' parties, birthdays, anniversaries, weddings. Started to come in.
Is John still with you now?
No. So he actually, just before COVID, he decided. He worked another job. He worked in the railway, and that was getting busy, taking up weekends, and he had a little one on the way, and he decided to stop just before COVID. Yeah, so up until COVID, that was kind of like 10, 11 years sort of thing where we were together. And once we got into doing weddings more, we were doing together, and like John was focusing on the MCing part of, the hosting and MCing. So we'd do a lot of all day weddings back then. Yeah, and then just before COVID, John decided to duck out, and I was like, right, I'm going to carry on. Bought some new speakers, bought a van, and then COVID happened. So they were just they were just like sitting there for a while. But COVID was a really, obviously we all know how weird it was. But during that period is when I really sort of doubled down on getting my processes in place, having all my cables in the right place and all that sort of thing, and all my stuff all nice on DJ Event Planner and that sort of thing. So once we got back into wedding season, it was
you was ready to
nice transition. Yeah, ready to go.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
So obviously, you spent sort of 10 years with with John doing all different types of parties, and then into the wedding. You stepped into the wedding, and he was doing the MC, and you was doing the DJing and all that. Obviously, then so after COVID, I mean, you've got all your processes in place, but then after COVID, you've gone back out. I mean, personally for me, I mean, I was chock-a-block with weddings straight after COVID, and it went like that for a good sort of 18 months, but. Where before COVID, you had someone with you there, and then after COVID, you had no one. You was on your own. How did you cope with that? Was it okay? Were you happy with it, or did you miss it? Or
yeah, it's a good question. I was nervous time, initially I thought, oh, shall I jack it in as well? I don't know if I'm doing it on my own. But then I thought, no, I'll do it. I'm good at it. A lot of people encouraged me to do it as well, and I'm glad I did. The scariest part for me, having not done much of the MCing before, was like, now I've got to do everything. Do the MCing, and I wasn't super. I obviously did the odd bit on the mic, but not as much as John. So that was that was a bit scary. And I think I've mentioned this in like TikTok videos or something before, but like I used to like script down what I was going to say, kind of in general, with like that I could use every time, with like a insert name here to introduce bride and grooms. Literally after a few weddings, you sort of remember it, and start adapting, your own style, and confidence comes very, very quickly as well, I found. So it wasn't as bad and scary as I thought it would be.
But one of the things when I started, the one thing I had no confidence whatsoever. I'd say literally 3 things on the mic. But the worst thing for me was hearing my own voice over a loud PA system, because it sounds completely different from what you hear in your head. And that really did throw me. And it weren't till I'd done a few sort of, few weddings where I was speaking on the mic, I was just like, you know what, I'm probably never going to see these people again. I've done their wedding, I'm probably never going to see them. So whatever I say, whatever I do, it'll be forgotten about tomorrow. You know what I mean? But it was the sound of my own voice, because it does sound different. And I think once I'd overcome that hurdle, I think I was, that I was all right with that, to be fair. Now I just scream down the mic whenever I can.
I've always been, and still am, kind of quite minimal on the mic, really. Only speaking when I need to, like for introductions. The odd bit of kind of like interaction and that sort of thing. But and I think in today's couples, they don't want loads of talking over the music. They don't want cheesy DJs, talking over every track.
They don't want the Peter Kay where
no,
and that is one thing I don't do, to be fair. I'm a bit like you. You talk when you need to, and announce when you need to announce. But other than that, they're there. And I used to say this when I first started. Say, look, guys, you're not here to listen to my voice. You're here to listen to the music and have a good night. So and I just let them. I just let them. Let the party go on. And I would say a few. The buffet's ready, or we're running out of time. Last orders, that sort of thing. That was kind of about all I used to say, really. But obviously now, being more confident in everything, in the whole package, the whole deal. Being a lot more confident, it does change. So Dan, obviously after COVID, did you just do the wedding? Did you just do wedding? You sort of concentrated on that, or did you?
Pretty much. I'd still get inquiries I'd mainly get inquiries for weddings, because that's where my not marketing as such. I wasn't really, it wasn't marketing at all. But my website and branding was focused on weddings. But on my website, we still have an area for like, are you having a birthday? Get in touch. And so I'd still do the odd birthday. Perhaps if I got an inquiry for a birthday like in the summer, I'd probably maybe turn it down, because I knew I'd probably get a wedding in there, which pays a bit more. But certainly, I did a few, and certainly in the quieter months. But I think as time went on during that post-COVID period, obviously did a lot of weddings from the backlog. And then from that, more weddings are going to come out of it, because you get recommended by other couples and venues.
Venues and that.
So
as well.
I think this year I've done one, maybe, I think actually just one birthday party. Everything else weddings.
Everything has been weddings. Love that.
And a couple of Christmas parties coming up.
Are you all like? Well, we'll have a little chat about the old Christmas parties in a minute. But it's interesting, Dan. Because COVID was a horrible time for everyone, no matter what. And for our industry, none of us could do anything. Even when they opened the pubs back up, it was like, you've got to sit you got to book a table, you got to sit at a table, you cannot go to the bar, you got to stay seated. There
Yeah.
was no
Crazy,
entertainment,
wasn't it?
there was no DJ. It was very crazy, and it was kind of like you said, you was questioning at one point, do I just give it up as well? John's give it up, do I give it up as well? And I think there was a lot of people in our industry who was like, you know what, I'm just going to hang up the headphones. This is
Yeah,
the
a few
time
did, didn't
now.
they? Yeah.
Yeah, there was quite a lot of people that
Yeah.
did that. But then for the people that sort of carried on through it, I think they did very well out the next 18 months, especially with the wedding scene. You know, we did really well because there was the backlog. There was like 2-year backlog plus the stuff that was coming in. So it was, interesting times moving like forward. So Dan, you touched on that you you had your CDJs, you bought your CDJs, you got your CDJ 1000s, you bought them for Chelmsford. But when did you do? I mean, I'm assuming that you did the transition from CDJ to digital controller or laptop or anything. Did you do that?
Do you know what? I think we, again, pre-COVID with John, I think this was actually quite a while back when we did start. Now that I think of it, we started with when we set up Jane Sound, like, yeah, we can do this properly. That was CDJs, and we had. So I was kind of focusing on playing on the decks. John got Tractor, and we had a laptop. And I'd say it's probably more for like requests and kind of. I preferred. I couldn't get into the digital DJing then. I was still playing a lot on CDs, but yeah, we were going between both really.
Both of them.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think how we had it set up. But like, the laptop must have been going. I think we had 4 channels on a mixer, 2 CDJs,
2 CDJs,
2 for the laptop. Yeah,
I must admit. I mean,
we were running both for quite a while.
I was very apprehensive about moving over to like digital laptop because it was just like, what if the laptop crashes halfway through a session? You know, with CDJs and CDs, okay, if it's scratchy, if it skips, okay, there's a bit of dust on the thing, you take it out, you clean it, put it back, job done. You know, but it took me quite a while, and then it was just a case of I've got to do it because I'm going out with like 8-9 different wallets of CDs here, and I never forget. I was doing warm up DJ in Chelmsford. Did I ever told you this story with Judge Jules? So Judge Jules had a night on, and I was the warm up DJ for him, and I've gone in and I've got 9 wallets of CDs, like club, R&B, garage, drum. I've got all these CDs. He's rocked up with a pair of headphones and a USB stick. And I'm like, mate, that's what I wanted. I don't want to be walking around with. I mean, and I didn't do vinyl. And I know that when I started watching DJs in clubs, they were rocking up with people carrying like 2 boxes of vinyls for them, and they'd be going like this through the thing. Yeah, I'm going to keep that one out. Yeah, well, and Judge Jules, he literally is a pair of headphones and a USB stick. He did an hour. He earned something like £3,000. Then he went off to the next gig. I'm like, I want to be like that. I want to be like that. $3,000 an hour. Yeah, please, thank you.
Was that must have been early days USB stick DJing?
Yeah, very early days. Yeah, because we still had the CDJ 1000s in the booth at the club, and he had some. I don't know what else he had with him, but yeah, he literally had a USB stick and a pair of headphones, and that was it. And he just popped it in, and I was just like, mate, that's amazing. And that was like, right. And it took me a while to get over to go from CD to laptop. And then even now, even though I've got a standalone controller, I still use my laptop as well, because it's just, you get used to something and then you just got to make that jump. You shouldn't be afraid to make the jump, but you do, you kind of, I'm so used to using this now. Because I used Tractor for years. Loved it.
Yeah, Tractor was the probably top software, wasn't it, back then?
It was, because I mean, if we go back probably...
There was only really that and Serato, wasn't there, I think?
I didn't even know Serato back then, to be fair. I literally knew Tractor.
I think Serato was very much focused on like scratch DJs. I think it was even called Serato Scratch or something.
I mean, when I went to Tractor, they bought out two controllers, the the S5 and the S8, and the S8 was the first controller that had an additional four faders which did your stems, and it was just like that was revolutionary back then. It was just like, what, so you just do that and it takes out all the bass, and it was. And I think they were probably one of the first to implement a stems feature within their controller. But the S8 back then, it was massive, and it weighed a ton. It was so heavy, so heavy. And then I went to VDJ because I was doing I was doing a lot of video DJing as well. I was working for a guy, and if they wanted like the TV screen, they wanted the videos, the music videos. So I went with VDJ because it was, I think, a lifetime membership was like £250, job done, and that's it. I don't pay for any updates or nothing. But now mostly, I still use VDJ now, but I am also with the Engine OS software being a standalone, because I'm a Denon man myself. Yeah. What do you have a preference?
Yes. Back I use Recordbox now, Pioneer controllers and Recordbox. I've got really used to Recordbox, know it like the back of my hand now. And there was a Tractor and Native Instruments were kind of they weren't developing much tech wise, were they? And we having used CDJs as well, and at some point we went to CDJ 900s as well, because we couldn't afford the 2000s. Got the 900s, and so they were like memory stick as well, stick in. I've always been super used to like Pioneer, and went with Recordbox.
Love it. Yeah,
been there ever since.
Love it. Yeah, I've never used Recordbox or Serato, because I've always either been Denon or VDJ or Tractor, to be fair. So I know because I think Matty used DJ Pro, which I think was Algorithm or something that he used to use as well. I've never even heard of that one before either. So, but it's as we step through the years, and we're coming up to modern day, how things have transitioned, like, from vinyl, to your CDs and your CDJs, and then to your laptops and your digital, and now to standalone. What's going, I think
standalone stems,
stems, and then
automatic
you've got your
mixing.
Yeah, well, that's Apple Music can do that now. I think it's Apple Music and Spotify. I think they could both do pretty much the same thing now. And it's just like, what with AI and all of that, you kind of think to yourself, like, am I going to have a job in 5 years' time? Or you're just going to pop a speaker in a corner and a mobile phone, and away they go, sort of thing, But can AI can't feel the vibe of the party on the dance floor?
No.
Let's be honest. That's where you need us.
Yeah. I don't think it will. I think for some people, it might be like, I don't need a DJ. I can have a playlist on Spotify. Well, you go for it then. Other people are going to, what's the word? Kind of, respect what a DJ can bring to a wedding, and know that's it's totally different.
Well, this is it. And I think that one of the things with us DJs is that we do. We're not just there pushing buttons and playing the next song. We're reading the crowd. We're seeing where the vibe is, what's hitting the right spot here. If I put Luther Vandross on and no one reacts to it, I'm like, well, this clearly isn't their vibe. Let's just move on. Let's try this. And then once you found that, that genre or whatever it is, that you think, right, okay, let's go with this, and that's where you can sort of get that vibe going and keep it in the, keep it on the dance floor. Dan, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back. And I'm wondering, do you have any funny stories or any tips and tricks? We're going to find that out straight after this break.
I'll have a think.
Welcome back, Dan. Thanks for coming back.
It's all right. I thought I'd better pop back.
Yeah. I always worry when we come back from the break in case my guest doesn't come back. But no. So for those of you just sort of like tuning in, sort of thing. Obviously, we've had we found out a little bit about you, where you started. Your relationship with your DJing and your sort of business partner, if you like, John, and then COVID and all that sort of thing. Where you concentrated more on your wedding. You more do weddings than you did your parties. There must be the odd funny story or a situation that's made you have a little giggle or a little chuckle. Is there anything there that springs to? I know I kind of sprung it on you, but is there anything that kind of springs to mind?
I mean, there's been a lot of things over the years, you know, enough, like I say in general, nothing too crazy. You know, you do see some sights. One thing that does spring to mind is this wedding I did. I saw this guy taking something on the dance floor. I don't know what it was. Not into drugs, some sort of drugs. Then probably like half hour later, he was getting very like clearly like drinking as well. He was all over the place, and they had some like photo booth props, and he came round to the, yeah, he had a, yeah, that was it. He had a wig on from the props, and he came round to my side of the DJ booth. So he was a big guy, and from what I gather, what I can remember, he was like a rugby player. He was a big guy, twice my size. I'm not exactly big, and he reached over and touched something on the laptop, and it, like, you know how the laptop keys will have shortcuts for like,
Yeah.
for the controller. It like stuttered the music, made it go a bit weird for a minute, and I was like having a go. I'm like, what are you doing? Go away, get back around there. And he was like squaring up to me, like, you know, twice my height. And he wouldn't. He was just standing there, wouldn't go. I can't remember if I mentioned it to either the bar staff or the groom. But eventually the groom came and got him, and yeah, didn't cause me any trouble. But he was very leery on the dance floor, and just getting worse. And then I can't remember this exactly, but it was like, it must have been leading up to the end of the night. He was taking his clothes. No, do you know what? I think it might have been after the last. I think we might have got to the last song. All done. He started taking his clothes off. Like, so the lights were up so everyone could see, but literally took all his clothes off, everything.
Oh, wow.
And was like walking around, running around.
Whoa.
The bar staff and the manager were like trying to get rid of him. He punched the bar manager. Yeah, and like some people were trying to get rid of him. There was other people like sort of defending him, and he eventually got rid of him eventually, and like the couple were there like tidying up and everything. It was at a golf club, and just outside the function room there was like a patio. Just in front of the patio was the practice, like putting greens. But it turned out, and this was before the night was there. They were out. Staff must have been outside tidying up. It turned out he'd gone for a number 2 in one of the holes, one of the putting green holes, and the groom was made to go and clear it up, because apparently the next morning they had having kids in, like doing their putting.
Oh practice. Man, that's another level. That is, I tell you. Wow,
it is ridiculous.
Wow. You know, it must be something about weddings and clothes, because I did a wedding once and a woman, I mean, we was only like, I mean, it was still daylight. I mean, it must have been about 8, half 8. Woman's come up and said, "Oh, can you play Living on a Prayer?" And I said, I'm going to play. I'm going to play it later. She said, No, you play it now. I said, "No, it's too early now." I said, "I'll do it later. I'll do it later." She said, I'll show you my boobs. And I went, "What?" I said, No. I said, "It's all right. Not a problem. I will play it later." She said, No. I'll show you, play it now. I'll show you. I said, Look, we'll play it later. With that, she's got a dress on. She's hoiked up her dress. And I see, you know.
Sounds like she just wanted to do it anyway.
Wait, you know what? Right? I didn't know where to look then, you know. And I mean, she had bra and everything on and all of that. I said, "Look, I'm going to play it later. I'm going to play it." At the corner of my eye, see a bloke walking over. Right, and this geezer was a monster. He was a machine. He was huge. And I'm thinking, "Oh, mate, I'm going to get hurt here. I'm going to get hit. I'm going to get hurt." He's come over. He's giving it, "All right, mate." I'll give it, you know, squeaky voice. I'm like, "Yeah." He went, "Did she just ask you for Bon Jovi?" I was like, "Oh, has she done this before then?" And he's like, "Yeah, mate, she's a nightmare." And it was like, mate, honestly, I thought I was going to get hit that day. I really did. This geezer just walk, but he walked over with such purpose. I thought, like, "Oh, it's going to hurt," but I know it's quite.
Oh my God.
It's quite funny. But yeah, so Dan, one of the things that I've touched on this before. Obviously, I've followed you on TikTok pretty much since I've known you, and you've come out. You built your DJ stand. You built your your live streaming sort of desk that you've got that when you live stream on a Friday morning, and whilst you've been doing these videos, you've been passing on lots and lots of useful tips, and there's one that sticks out for me regarding cabling for me, and it's I don't know what you call it. I call it the loop and swoop. I don't know what it's actually called.
I didn't give it the name, but over and under, because you sort of wrap it over one way and then back the other way.
That's it. I still use that now. Ever since watching that video, and literally, I pull my coat and it's not even. So go on to Dan's TikTok videos. Right, scroll down, find this one. Right, so I'll tell you something. You might have to scroll down a bit to be fair, but it's an amazing tip. But then not just the cabling thing. I mean, when you was building your rustic rig on wheels, you've sort of pre-wired it all ready to go. Literally, I think you've got to put in like one plug, I think, into the wall, and you're ready to go pretty much. You know.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Kind of thing, isn't it? So, and yeah, I mean, the tips that you've given out to other people, you know, in your videos and all of that, is there any not so much like with the you know, your setup or anything, but is there any tips that you could give or any advice that you could possibly give anyone that's thinking about or just starting in this industry, mobile DJing or club DJing or whatever? Because I know you've done a bit of club work as well, haven't you?
The odd bit years ago.
The odd bit.
Bars but more.
Coming into the industry, is there anything that you could, you know, any words of wisdom or anything that you could share with us?
I'd say, yeah. I mean, talking about what you just mentioned, I think so. Back in the earlier days, when I was DJing with John, let's just say I think I was a bit more organised than him, and you know, but back then we'd have you know, just one like tub that every single cable got chucked into. So when you go to use them next week, it's like untangle the spaghetti to find the cable you want, undo the knots, and yeah, that was just, I don't know, that was kind of just how we worked back then. Over the years, things have got a bit more tidy, a bit more organised. But it was during COVID. I was like, right, I'm going to get really organised with my cables, and so yeah, I think that is a thing that really helps me in terms of setting up quickly, not forgetting anything, not losing anything. I have one small cable bag which has got all the cables that I need in it to set up my rig. 2 XLR cables, my mic and the cables for the mic, 2 small extension leads. I'm just running through them in my head. Mains cables for the speakers. So literally just the single cables I need to set up my setup. Then I just have a couple of tubs in the, I say tubs, like the plastic tub things.
Like the big like carry box type things.
Yeah, one with spare cables in, another one with a spare small controller in, some other bits, and they just stay in the van while I'm at a wedding. I rarely have to go in them. Now and again, if I need another extra XLR cable to run to another socket or something, or a longer extension lead. But yeah,
I must admit, I mean, my cabling as well, I'm very, very similar to what you said. Like, I'd spend ages uncabling them. But before the days of, with my lighting, before the days of wireless dongles, I was like, you daisy chain all your lights using XLR cables and this and that. Well, I used to like color code my cables like 3 meter. You know, if I had a bit of green tape on one, that'd be a 3 meter cable. Red tape would be a 5 meters. And I used to do it like that. And now I've got a massive bag in my locker, which is just XLR cables. I have literally got hundreds of like from like 50 centimeter ones, like, well, that's probably 50 centimeters to be fair, from 50 centimeters to 10 meter long like XLR cables that I just don't use now because there's no need to use them anymore. You know.
Yeah, same.
Crazy. Now, Dan, unfortunately, my friend, we are running out of time here on the Groove Junction this evening.
No worries.
Before we go, what have you got planned this week? You got anything on this week before you go?
this weekend I've got I've got my first Christmas party, which
Nice.
is a November Christmas party, an end of November Christmas party. But yeah, that should be good.
Love that.
I'm doing that for another DJ kind of thing.
Okay,
But yeah, look
helping
forward
him
to
out.
that. Yeah.
Have you prepped for it, or are you just gonna just chuck a bit of Mariah Carey in there and be done with that?
My uplighters are literally charging now for it. Other than that, I have it's quite, I obviously love weddings, and that kind of, you could get a bit of a playlist from the couples. It's different every time, but like a Christmas party, you don't really this is be a corporate thing. You don't really don't need to get any music requests in advance really, and just going through my playlist. Yeah, got my warm up Christmas stuff. There'll be a few Christmas tunes. I don't tend to play, other than like, because for this one I'll be like playing some background music, some Christmas music during the meal. Otherwise I don't really play any Christmas music until in the last half hour. I might chuck Mariah in, the Pogues, bit of Wham. That's about it really.
Very similar. We were talking about it last week, and
I'm sure that's very similar for most DJs.
I think so. I mean, like I said in last week's one, if you want to listen to Christmas music, go shopping. Every single shop is playing Christmas music. Just go there,
shopping in October.
Yeah, that's it. Well, you're saying that, it won't give it a couple of weeks. You'll see Easter eggs on the shelves, mate. I'll tell you, they're gonna be out before you know it. Right, what am I doing this week, Dan? So Friday, I've got a silent disco Friday in Chelmsford Cathedral. So literally, like, when I say 3 minutes down the road, I mean it's 3 minutes down the road. I'm on the Blue Channel. We're doing an 80s night double session with Matty.
Do you walk or you drive?
I drive.
3 minutes drive or 3 minutes walk?
Well, mate, I spent all that money getting a driver's license. I might as well use it. Do you know what I mean? No, I've got to take my controller, so I will be driving. But
true.
Me and Matty and Jules Vick on there Friday night.
Oh yeah,
Saturday. Jules, good old Jules. Bedfordshire way, I think she is.
She's done a few with you now, right?
She couldn't do the last one because I think she had an operation on her foot, and she just didn't want to, push herself with it, with the healing, which makes sense. But yeah, she's great. She's so funny. She's and she, honestly, she knows her music as well, Dan. Like 90s club music, she's all over that.
Yeah. I've not met her in person, but she's really nice.
Yeah, she's lovely, and she's got a connection to Chelmsford. I think she used to live in Chelmsford, because I know we've been speaking. She used to go to Duke's nightclub and all of that as well. So love her. Saturday, 70th birthday party over in sort of Braintree Way, which is it's a midnight finish. So I kind of like it when they give it. Oh, we're finishing at 11. Yeah, bingo. And then I've got a K-pop party for a child on Sunday.
Wow.
Which the actual act, the K-pop act, has let them down, and I can't. She can't. Okay. Yeah, so she can't get anybody else. So it's kind of, can you just play half an hour of just K-pop music? And I'm like, yeah, sure.
Do you know your K-pop, John? Because I don't think I could fill half an hour, not without going on some research.
I'll be honest. I play Golden and I play Soda Pop. They're the two that I kind of play at kids' parties. You know what? I think if I chuck a different remix in, I think they'd be all right with that. But I did go out and buy the album, so I thought, you know what? I'll just mix up the songs in order so they don't think I'm just playing the album, and just do that for half hour for them.
What's that band? I don't hear much of them now. From a couple of years ago, really big. They were kind of like, I would say they're probably the first big band when the K-pop stuff sort of started.
Was it B something, wasn't it? BTS?
BTS? That sounds right. Yeah.
That sounds something like that. Yeah, they were the Koreans, weren't they? They were really big. And then I think Psy with his Gangnam Style, I think he really kicked it off, quite a few years back. I think really kicked it off. But you don't hear it. I'm sure it's BTS, but you don't hear from them anymore.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Well, I haven't heard from them,
No.
But yeah. But no. So Dan, unfortunately, we have run out of time. I think that I think we'll have to get you back on again. I say this to everyone because I think we've only just scratched the surface with you, mate. To be fair.
Oh yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the Groove Junction.
Pleasure to be here.
guys, in the comments in the description there, you're going to see all Dan's like links to his TikTok accounts, YouTube, Instagram, all that sort of stuff. Give him a look and everything. And as we always say on the Groove Junction, you know, there is no such thing as a silly question. You can reach out to me here at the Groove Junction. You can reach out to Dan if you want to ask him any questions about, you know, his journey, his story, you know, from where he started to where he is now. You know, reach out, ask the questions. You know, we're more than happy to help you out with that one. But Dan, unfortunately, it only leaves me to say I'm going to have to say goodbye for now. But are you happy to come back on maybe sometime in the new year?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. We'll carry on.
Fantastic.
Sounds good.
Love that. Well, listen, guys, as I always say, I wish you safe and I wish you well. Look after yourselves. Look after each other. From me, John Colley, and Dan,
See you later.
be
everyone.
safe. Be lucky.